This will change your life. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikki LaRose, and if you're new here, I'm a celebrity makeup artist based in Los Angeles. And for today's video, I thought since summer is here, it's really hot outside, I wanted to share 5 makeup tips to get you through summer. Okay, so let's get right into it. This list of 5 tips is in no particular order, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. And one of the first tips that comes to mind is in the summer, you wanna be glowy, right? You wanna have that fresh, glowy skin. We all wanna be glowy, but during the summer, we also have to deal with sweat and humidity and climate and all those things. And so when you're starting out with a really glowy makeup, like for example, a cream blush initially is glowy and it doesn't dry down. So what you wanna do for longevity, especially during the summer, is set your cream blush. So, wintertime, fall, whenever the weather is more cool and you're not dealing with like the sweat factor, just putting a cream blush on alone and calling it good is totally fine, especially if you're more on the dry side with your skin. Even if you're oily, typically you could kind of leave a cream blush on its own and not have to worry about setting it. But during the summer, I highly suggest you utilize this tip. If you're gonna do a cream blush, which we all love our cream blushes, me especially, choose a powder blush that's relatively close in color, like similar in color, especially like undertone, to set your cream blush. So this combination will keep it from budging, it will keep it from sliding off your face, which in the summer, we all know you start to sweat and your makeup starts to slide and run down your face. So this will help to prevent that from happening. And it's just a really great tip for longevity. So this is something I've been doing for years, especially with when I used to do weddings like full time. I would always do a cream blush first, and then I would set it with a powder blush just to lock it in and to get that longevity so it would last all day. So that would be one of my first tips that comes to mind. If you're gonna use a cream blush, which we all do, make sure you set it with a powder. Trust me, in 100-degree weather, your blush will stay on, it will stay put, and won't be sliding down your face. Okay, so my next tip is to properly prime your eyelids. And normally, like if you watch my channel or if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see me a lot of the times using either my foundation, a powder, or especially concealers. I love to prep my eyelids with concealers and then set them with a little bit of powder. And then normally, any other time of the year other than when it's super hot during the summer, that is totally fine, and that's more than enough to keep my eyeshadows from creasing and also to keep them on all day. But when we're talking 100+ degree weather or high humidity, like let's say you're going on a vacation to a really tropical place and there's a high humidity, or if you just live in a high humidity climate, I highly suggest during the summer, go invest in a good eyeshadow base, like a proper eyeshadow primer. There's a couple that I like. I'm not a diehard for any particular brand, if I'm being really honest. I think there's room for improvement with eyeshadow bases. But one that I've been liking, and I was surprised that I liked it as much as I do, is from Milkmakeup. It's the Hydro Grip Eye Primer Base. Hydro Grip Eye Primer / base. It's a long name. But anyway, this is really cool because you can actually use this underneath your eye, like before you put your concealer on, and it will help with creasing. But not only that, more importantly, you could prep your eyelids. You can kind of dab it on. It's really thin, really lightweight. So if you don't like a heavy feeling of like a traditional eyeshadow primer, this is really lightweight and will feel really nice, and it won't add like a heaviness to your eyelid. But more importantly, to the point of this whole tip, it will keep your eyeshadow from slipping, from sliding off your eyelids, or from creasing. So that is an important tip. Go pick up an eyeshadow base, like a proper primer, test it out. I promise you during the summer, you'll need it. Moving on to my next tip. This one might come as a surprise, especially if you have followed me on Instagram for a while or if you've watched my previous YouTube tutorials. I don't typically use primers. And that's just because I've always believed more in properly prepping your skin with hydration and good skincare and then moving on to your makeup. And I think that's honestly the best skin prep and primer that you could use. There are times where there's an exception, and summertime when it's 100+ degrees outside and it's humid and you're sticky and you're sweating, if there's ever a time to bust out a primer, it is summer. And I want to show you guys 2 that I have been really liking lately. I've tested them out in high humid climates. Like I took one to Mexico for a client of mine where it was super hot, super sticky, the humidity hit you in the face when you walked outside. And this product helped a lot with the longevity of the makeup. And you still want to properly prep your skin. You don't want to skip any of your skin prep. You still want to use all the normal steps, including your sunscreen. But the last step is utilizing just a little bit of primer. And it could be a pea-sized amount that will make all the difference. So the primers that I've been liking for summertime specifically is the Milk Makeup. This is the Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer. This holds up very, very well under, like I said, high humid, super high heat. This is the one that I took to Mexico recently, and I used it on a client, and she had a very long day ahead of her, and this really helped to keep her makeup in place, to keep her makeup from sliding off her face, and just to keep it looking flawless throughout the day. Now, I think without the primer, she still would have looked beautiful. She just would have been a little more glowy, maybe a little more sweaty, but this just helped to keep it a little more in check. So primer, I just want to reiterate, it's not going to be a miracle worker. It's not going to solve all your problems in the summer. However, it is going to give you a leg up and it's going to definitely help out. So I suggest investing in a primer. Try out different ones. This one I've just been really liking. I feel like it's so great, like I said, in high humidity. So this one is one of my picks for the summertime. Another one that is a great honorable mention that I've used many times before is the Nars Soft Matte Primer. And I've just had this in my kit in general for my clients that are just really oily, and this helps to kind of calm that down, to mattify them, and to really kind of keep their oil control just at a good level throughout the day. It's not super duper mattifying, but it will help you out, especially if it's hot outside. And one more tip with primers, less is more. You don't need to overdo it just because it's hot outside. Don't pack it on thinking it's going to, do an even better job of keeping your makeup on longer. Pea-size amount is all you need. And I really like to focus it for all my clients in the T-zone especially. That's where we produce the most oil. But if you produce more oil in other areas, by all means go for it and apply it where you feel like you need it the most. But as a general rule of thumb, the T-zone is going to be the main area that you want to focus on and make sure it's properly primed with a primer. Okay, so this next tip might be one of my all-time favorite tips, regardless of whatever season it is, summer, fall, winter, whatever the case is. I've been doing this personally for so many years, and the reason for that is because I have typically very oily skin. I've talked about this before. So my skin gets oily, I get very shiny throughout the day, and my brows get very, very shiny throughout the day. And so this tip is a game changer. So whether you're oily or not, during the summer, when we're sweating and it's hot outside and your makeup is melting, what gets super shiny? Your brows. So if you're someone who fills in your brows, you know the pain of filling in your brows with a brow pencil or whatever you're using, pomade, powder, whatever the case is. You know the pain of halfway through the day, your brows are like an oil slick. They're super shiny. And the reason for that too is on top of it being hot during the summer and our makeup just kind of melting naturally, our heads are so hot. Our heads produce the most heat out of our whole body. So our brows, if you're someone like me who has to fill in their brows, our brows don't stand a chance against getting shiny throughout the day, especially in the summer. Just a disclaimer, if you're someone who has beautiful, full, thick, natural brows, you might want to skip past this tip because it's really not going to benefit you. You're not going to need this tip, basically. But for those out there who are like me, who fill in the bulk of their brow, like draw on a brow with a pencil or whatever you're using, you need to use this tip in the summer. So this tip is to powder your brows. If you powder the rest of your face, right? You powder your T-zone, you powder your nose, all those things, you touch up your nose all throughout the day, you're powdering. But why don't we powder our brows? This will change your life in the summer. This will keep your brows from looking like an oil slick, like you just painted them on freshly with wet paint. This will keep them on and it will keep them from sliding down your face. So I highly suggest. It does not need to be this powder. However, I've used this powder for years and this is a great, great powder for oil control. And it's also just amazing in the summertime. It will keep your makeup looking pristine. This is the one that I use. I've used it for over 10 years now, easily. All you need is any fluffy eyeshadow brush, any kind, drugstore, high-end, I don't care, any fluffy brush, and a little bit of loose powder. So it's really hot in our studio right now. Like the AC is not in here. It's a hot summer day and my brows I can see them. They're starting to get really shiny. So this is the perfect time to actually show you guys how to powder your brows and how simple it is. So taking my Makeup Forever powder, this is mine, and this is just a Makeup by Mario fluffy eyeshadow brush. Like I said, any eyeshadow brush does not need to be this one. So taking some on my eyeshadow brush, I'm just gonna pat it in. Now, this is where you don't wanna be aggressive. You don't wanna blend it, you don't wanna go back and forth. You're just gonna tap it on ever so lightly. And it's just gonna cut down the shine. I do suggest you use this tip first thing in the morning. So like first thing after you finish filling in your brows, I suggest setting them right away. But then you can also touch them up throughout the day if you need to. Like if you get really oily or if you get super duper sweaty, you can always go back over it throughout the day with more powder. But if you just do a really good job, like a thorough job in the morning right after you apply your brows, like your brow pencil or your powder, that should be more than enough to keep them shine free and sweat free and keep them from sliding off your face all day, even if it's 1,000 degrees outside. Brows are powdered down, they're set, they're ready for summertime, they're ready to be in hot, humid weather, and they're not gonna budge and they're not gonna slip down my face, which, like I said, if you're someone who fills in their brows like me, you know the struggle of keeping your brows on throughout the day. You know it. Last but not least, the final tip for keeping your makeup on and surviving summer while wearing makeup is one of my most favorite tips, to be honest. And I've been using powder puffs for my entire career. I started using powder puffs on set a long time ago when I was working on commercials and I was assisting a long time ago. I was assisting for makeup artists and they introduced me to these really small, round, pink powder puffs. And they're kind of like an industry standard product, right? They've been around forever. Makeup artists have used them for decades and decades. And I got hooked on powder puffs. Ever since then, I've tried every single powder puff that's on the market and I have so many favorites, but I've been gatekeeping a particular brand. It's kind of like a no brand. I get them on Amazon. I buy them in bulk. They are the softest powder puffs on earth. They're like velvet. They actually feel just like, I think they actually might be, maybe they're not velvet, but they feel just like velvet. They're so soft. They will give you the most perfect powder application. They have a little ribbon flap here that you can put your finger in, obviously like I am, and you tap on your powder. These are great for a couple reasons. So I've used them on my channel just in different colors. I can show you right now. And you'll probably recognize this powder puff in particular. I use this one all the time on my Instagram, on my YouTube. It's one of my favorites. Is from the professional makeup brand Krylon. This is more of like a special effects brand and a specialty brand. They're a little bit harder to find. So I want to show you guys these. And like I said, I've been kind of gatekeeping these. Sorry, don't hate me. But these are even better than these. And I feel confident showing you guys now because I've stocked up. I have another package of this that I just got from Amazon. So I'm stocked, I'm good. And it's time to spread the love. These are phenomenal. And so not only are they amazing for setting your makeup initially after you apply it, like using your setting powder for under your eye or for the T-zone and all those places, these are your best friend for touch-ups. There's really nothing quite like it. They're so soft. They get the job done so easy. What I suggest you do is take whatever setting powder you're using that you love and works for your skin. It could be pressed, could be loose, does not matter. Take your powder puff, get an excess amount of your powder onto your puff, put it in one of your makeup bags, put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in any kind of bag that you can clean later on, but keep this on hand. And even if you have just a small amount of powder in it from like the morning when you initially applied your makeup, that's all you need. So if you get sweaty throughout the day, this is your best friend to blot. I don't like the blotting papers. I've talked about that before. I talked about that in a previous video. This is what you need. This is a game changer. This will gently pick up any sweat. This will gently pick up any excess oil on your skin, and it will leave your makeup looking flawless. And it doesn't require a lot of skill at all. You just take it, pat it on, and you're good. So let's say you sweat above your lip. Pat it, lift up that sweat, you're done. Let's say you get sweaty on your cheeks. If you pat it in, pat your forehead, pat your neck, I don't care where you want to pat, wherever you're getting sweaty and oily, this is your best friend. I highly suggest, I'll make sure I link it in the description box, but it doesn't even have to be this brand. It could be any powder puff brand, as long as they're soft, where they're not gonna be too rough on your skin. And then another tip too, do not toss these. These are not disposable. These are meant to be washed and reused over and over and over again, much like a beauty blender or especially like a makeup brush. Like you use your brush over and over again. One pack of these will last you years, honestly. Years. So that wraps up this video. Those are 5 makeup tips that I highly suggest you utilize during the summer. I promise you they will help your makeup from sliding down your face. If you try any of these tips, I would love to hear back from you guys, so leave me a comment below. And if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok. I'm at Makeup by Nikki LaRose, where you can see tons of other fun tutorials there. And that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.